Welcome in to another week, a Monday edition Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio today. All podcast on MPW Digital, brought to you by Twisted Tea. More on them in a little bit, but we move ahead to LSU. Final thoughts on Alabama and the Rebels and Tigers. 5 o'clock Saturday from Vaught-Hemingway Stadium. Ole Miss returning home after the 24-10 loss to Alabama Saturday at Bryant-Denny. So we had a post-game show. Check that out. If you have not, a lot of thoughts. We'll probably repeat a few of those here today, but for the most part, you should go check it out. Should go listen to that post-game show brought to you by Dead Soxy. Remember, 25% off with Dead Soxy and code Rebel Grove for that. So we'll get into it in a second. First, Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. You know about the catering they can do, the specials they can do for your tailgate this weekend. If you're in the Grove, you're gonna need some gonna need some meat, gonna need some protein, a couple slabs of ribs, pounds of pulled pork, good vegetables, side items, potatoes, macaroni and cheese, plenty much more there at the Oxford Exxon. Lunch specials change every day. $5.69, 2 sides of bread, 32-ounce drink, or really the size drink of your choice, but might as well get the big one because why not? It is the same price no matter what size you pick there with the Oxford Exxon. The Beer Cave, 34 degrees of your alcoholic goodness, and more. And again, coming from Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around, or you can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that is hop into a Clark Ford today. 662-257-1900. Guests will join this week on the Campbell Clinic hotline. The Campbell Clinic is in Oxford now, 2608 South Lamar Boulevard, Suite 102, just across the street from the cottages at Hooper Hollow. The Campbell Clinic provides full-service orthopedic care, everything from sports medicine to foot and ankle surgery to spine and total joint care to pediatric orthopedics, physical therapy, and more. To book an appointment, go to campbellclinicoxford.com or call 901-759-3111. Walk-ins always welcome at the Campbell Clinic, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m.
So, it's funny. I was thinking about this morning. I was checking the message board, looking a lot of threads. Yeah, I do look like I have more of a fade on my hair than I actually do. The camera creates that for some reason, but it's all good. Fine with it.
I'd say that I'd buy more cameras, but I'm not gonna. So,
well, I don't think it's even the camera's fault. I think it's just angle and light and everything else. Yes, we need a much more professional camera to fix the fact that it looks like I have a certain hairstyle. Yeah, I need to correct that.
Well, I get the regular recommendations on doing this, and this in the studio, and I'm like, you guys do realize that's not really a studio, right? I mean, it's a room in a house. There's not really a studio. Well, go get one.
Sure. Yeah. College football fans during the week it's an interesting deal because, and fans in general, I mean, baseball doesn't play like this because it's so many games or whatever, but football is perfect because it's the week and you every game matters more than it does in other sports because there's fewer of them. It's all these different reasons. They go through sort of like the 5 stages of grief after every loss, and you see temperaments and attitudes and change and different things as the days go on, and even from Saturday to Monday, you sort of see a difference because we're in the post-game show. Emotions high. Everybody's very, very frustrated. Everybody's quite pissed off. A winnable game against Alabama that Ole Miss does not take care of, does not play well. Alabama plays and executes better, even in addition to having more talent. At least on the offense-defense side of the ball that we've hit on ad nauseum at this point. And then I see it in the stream here, and it's true. You sort of get and I don't know if it's acceptance or if it's justification or what, but by Monday you sort of get we're all saying 8-4 and they lost to Alabama. Probably was going to be one of the 4. So why are we freaked out? What is the thing that suddenly makes it the end of the world because you lost the one game? And in a vacuum, you get it because it's an opportunity. If you're going to take that next step and you're going to do all these things. And I think we probably should, and it probably is a thread on the board that has a poll of like what do you think the record is going to be, and you keep stats and all that because there are the outliers. Obviously, there's some 10-2, and there's even some 9-3, and some crazy stuff. The vast majority would have been 8.5 at most on a wins. The vast majority of normal fans.
Yeah,
so I do think by Monday you get to the point you go, okay, you got problems to fix, and you. To me, it's not even about the game. It's about the spiraling nature of what is possible at this point if you're freaked out. It is not necessarily that you just lost at Alabama. Does that make sense? It's you lose to LSU, then Arkansas gets kind of weird, and you start doing this thing because, and I'm kind of setting up the show here because I'm putting out 3 or 4 things that should be different segments, and I'm saying them all at one time. It's probably bad podcasting, bad hosting. But we said on Saturday night, Ole Miss, that college football is this week-to-week thing, and it's hard to necessarily predict what it's going to look like. One game doesn't go into the next and all this stuff. We put all this mileage on that. Well, Ole Miss's challenge now is, okay, that's probably if our hypothesis about what college football is correct, well, then sometimes you go win that game. You know what I mean? You go do the thing on the other side of it, because it only works like that if you have the really bad day and the match that you don't get it done, is if there's this game that you go take on the other side that doesn't necessarily make a ton of sense from a matchup standpoint. You see what I'm saying? You can't simply go, well, it's just college football, but you only fall on the losing side of that. That doesn't work. Does that make sense?
Kind of. There's a lot there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, if you were someone, hand raised, who went into the season saying 8-4, and if you told me I'm off the game, I'd go 7-5. That was me. And I had Alabama as one of the losses.
Okay.
So from that standpoint, I'm not exactly plussed, right? Nothing threw me off. Now, if you look at it objectively and go, that didn't look like Alabama.
Sure.
That hasn't looked like Alabama. Through 4 games, that hasn't looked like Alabama of the last 15 years. And in the first half on Saturday, Alabama didn't look very good. If you look at that, you go, well, it's one of 2 things. Either it's a missed opportunity or you're not very good either. And so I don't know the answer to that because we don't have enough stuff in yet. There's not enough data in to go, here's what they are. But we talked about this stretch for months and months and months. And now that we're in it, I think people have a tendency to try to, and understand this, you try to justify what you saw and go, well, it's okay, we'll get this one. Sure, this one's now critical because here's the deal. It's bottom line. This is where I come back on the Kiffin thing. Kiffin endeared himself to the fan base 2 ways. 1, by being cute on Twitter, and 2, by saying, hey, we're not here for moral victories.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to win championships. Now, I don't care what people did in the past. His words. We're here to win championships. If you don't win on Saturday, you're not winning a championship this year. Because you're not realistically, I think you have to look at the game in Athens in November as a likely loss.
Sure, of course.
No one beats them. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe somebody does, but the data says that they ain't losing much. So if you look at that as a loss and you lose to LSU, for you to get to Atlanta, Alabama has to lose 4 times.
That's what you mean. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Alabama owns the tiebreaker.
Yeah, sure.
So if you lose this weekend, realistically, you are not going to Atlanta, which means you're not playing for a championship. Now, 10-2 is still on the board. You're not going to a playoff. You can talk yourself into, hey, it's still going to be awesome. But at the end of the day, you're going to know, you know what? I was really hoping this was the year we went to Atlanta. I was hoping we would in the West one time before we went to the no division thing. And that's off the table. And when that's off the table, what does the rest of it look like? And then you go back to the Alabama game and you go, man, that was kind of an opportunity.
Well, there's no doubt it was. But, I mean, it plays into this. I appreciate this comment in the thread because I think it builds off what I'm saying. Josh Van Dyke says, quote, the vast majority thought 8-4 if the SEC hadn't been down across the board. Going 8-4 now seems like a disappointment. Okay, fair. I get it. There's problems in a lot of the West. How do you know you're not down 2?
Well, that's my point.
How do you not know that you're in the exact same boat because it's just the era we're in? Now, look, I don't understand enough football. This is a Pete DeWeese question on why Ole Miss can't run the football. I don't know. I know the offensive line's not playing well. I get the overarching reason.
I know what the Alabama coaching staff believes.
I know I get it. My point is, though, it is the exact same personnel as a year ago, or at least it could be. Jaden Williams isn't playing. All this stuff's going on.
Nick Broker's not there.
That's true. Nick Broker's not there, and that matters.
A lot.
Yeah, that matters. But you have a lot of people back. You have the running back back. You have the running backs back. You have all that stuff. Blah, 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 blah. Now, I get Zach Evans isn't here, but you get my overall point. It went from being the number 1 running game in the college football outside of triple option offenses to this, which has been below average poor this season. They have not been able to run the ball consistently whatsoever to this point. 1.9 against Alabama, Didn't do anything against Georgia Tech. They've had to completely get out of their offense on that. So my point is, I don't know the whys. I don't know why Jaden Williams isn't playing. I have no clue.
Right.
But in saying that, I don't think it's fair to look across the board and go, God, the West is just down everywhere, without looking at yourself in the mirror and go, 100%. Well, hold on a minute. You're not running the football.
100%.
You're putting so much pressure on Jackson Dart without receivers to get open down the football field.
100%.
I'm going to defend Dart again today. Everybody's kind of jumping on Jackson, and I don't see it.
I don't either.
I mean, it's that deal where we don't have enough sample size. Maybe they do something against LSU. Maybe they go win. They do all this stuff. You still don't know, even though we're a third of the way through the season at this point, that I have no idea what is, yeah, sure, that team really has issues, so that means Ole Miss is whatever. And that team looks at Ole Miss and goes, God, they can't even get Judkins to run the football. Because if you're an A&M fan today, just do it. I get it. It's dirty. But you're an A&M fan today, and you're going through the schedule. You get to Ole Miss and you go, they don't look right. Defensively, they're better.
Sure.
Pink's done a good job, blah, 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 blah. But hold on a minute. They were close to Tulane without Pratt. They were doing this, blah, 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 and they can't run. Judkins doesn't, like, that's what you would be doing today on the A&M message board is going, well, I mean, Ole Miss looks beatable. Why not? Because of this is this. So I guess my point is everybody's in a glob right now, and I don't think it's realistic to simply point out everyone else's issue without looking inward to find your own at some point too. Because, yeah, if you're just knocking on all cylinders, okay, but Ole Miss isn't right now.
Yeah, there's a lot there. So going into the game, I'm told, Alabama believed that Ole Miss's offensive line was a liability. Coming out of the game, I'm told, they believe that they diagnosed that correctly. They were who they thought they were, as Dennis Green once said, sort of. I mean, look, I don't know what it is with the offensive line. Broker's not there. I think that's significant. You got to remember Jeremy James is coming off a pretty significant injury. I kind of wonder sometimes watching Caleb Warren if he's not playing hurt. I don't know why Jaden Williams isn't playing. I don't know why Kern has replaced him. I guess he's grades out better, I suppose. I don't know. Acker doesn't play much anymore. Pettis does some things really well, and Pettis is a liability at times. He holds a lot. He gets called for it a lot. He gets away with it a lot. I mean, I told you the other day, between Pettis and Alabama's left tackle, I almost didn't blame the officiating crew for kind of going, you know what, if it's not just egregious, we're going to let it go because otherwise we're going to be here all night. I know that that's not what happened, but you understand my point. They could have literally just flagged them on every play. Just flag on both of them. Yeah,
they on the edges, both teams held, if you were in an NFL game, almost every play.
And then look, I think you were guilty of this. I was definitely guilty of this. And I think most of the fan base was guilty of what I'm about to say. We really underestimated how big of a loss it was for Zach Evans to leave.
Yeah.
Zach Evans, it gets overlooked because that game was such a nightmare for Ole Miss. But, like, he ran for 200-something at Arkansas that night. He was dominant when he was healthy. Now, he walked out of the Texas Bowl pissed off and didn't even consider coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, he got his hometown, he got 6 carries. He was pissed. But they miss him. They don't have a Zach Evans to counter Quinshawn with. Now it's, hey, all focus is on 4. The line's struggling. They're taking away A-gaps. And then so it gets hard.
And they haven't been able to use them in space.
And for whatever reason, and I think this is one of those questions that you're never going to get really an answer to, and maybe Trey Harris is that guy if and when he comes back completely healthy. They don't have the receivers to create separation, and so therefore the vertical passing game is limited, and Alabama was able to get pressure with 3 men. With 4 men. They were able to drop 7, sometimes 8 into coverage. Well, when you have that many guys dropped into coverage and you have receivers who can't get separation, man, the throwing windows are really, really narrow. And your offense gets pretty limited. And I think that's where they are right now. There's a lot of talk about the play calling. Lane was asked about it yesterday. He said it's the same as it's been. He kind of got not defensive, but he kind of attacked the question a little bit. Hey, you guys don't ask about this when we're scoring. Well, no, of course not. But yeah, no, I think it's absolutely if you're going to say, hey, you know what? Alabama looks down. Arkansas looks down. Auburn's down. Mississippi State looks down. I think it's only fair to go, Ole Miss might look down. Ole Miss might not be who people thought it was. They're still getting credit in the polls and things like that. People still put them basically fourth in the SEC. But here we are. I mean, we talked about this stretch for a long time. Alabama, LSU, Arkansas, boom, boom, boom. One's down. One did not go anything close to how people, I think, kind of thought it would go. Most people. I think most people thought they would be a one-score game.
Yeah, sure.
And here's LSU. And LSU's a weird team. I've watched a lot of LSU this year. I've watched, with the exception of the Grambling game, I've watched every snap. And they're an interesting team. They're kind of hot-cold. When they're cold, they're kind of like, what the hell? And when they're hot, they are something else.
They're big play dependent in a way, and it's they can get themselves out of trouble, but they have to get themselves out of trouble.
Well, like Saturday against Arkansas was a good example. I mean, Arkansas took a 13-3 lead with about 2 minutes to go in the first half, and LSU had a critical touchdown drive, big strikes. I mean, 2 big plays, boom, in the end zone. Malik Neighbors, get used to him, number 8. He is an absolute beast. People have a hard time guarding him. Mississippi State couldn't guard him. Arkansas couldn't guard him. Ole Miss has to guard him because he's Daniels' favorite weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And when they get going, they are like they're whatever reason for LSU. Against Florida State, against Arkansas, it's the same thing. When they get going, they're very hard to stop. But sometimes it takes them a while to get going.
Very much a downhill team. It's like momentum gets going, and they just sort of find it.
And my point was they finished that. They went into the half with some momentum. They came out, boom, scored right away. And then that game went back and forth, and Arkansas simply couldn't stop LSU. Otherwise, Arkansas would have had a real shot at winning the game. They lost 34-31 on the final kick of the game, a chip shot for I can't think of the kid's name, the kicker. I apologize to his parents if they're watching right now. It was a game that went back and forth. Now, on the flip side, LSU defensively, for all of the talent that they have on their front seven, and it's immense. They have dudes on the front seven. Their secondary is very atypical for LSU. Mm-hmm. It's gettable. They'll blow assignments. They get beat. KJ Jefferson for Arkansas had a terrific game. I don't know the stats, but he played well. He played really well. Arkansas, without Rocket Sanders, was able to establish a running game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Arkansas struggled, and this is going to be a challenge for Ole Miss too. Arkansas struggled at the tackles to contain pass rush. It broke down some things they were trying to do. It's the kind of stuff that Ole Miss is going to try to do, and Arkansas struggled to do it, and KJ got hit a lot because of their struggles with the tackles, because LSU it's not just Perkins. They have dudes in the front seven that can really get after the quarterback. You have to stay ahead of the chains with them. You can't go 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11. They tee off, and they'll come get your quarterback. They did it. They faced Florida State. They faced Arkansas. They've faced guys who can make plays with their feet at quarterback. So Jackson won't be the first mobile quarterback that they see this year.
Yeah, and then we'll get into some of Jackson's game against Alabama as far as what Ole Miss tried to do from a play calling standpoint in a second. First, you're ready to elevate your college football game day experience. Check out Twisted Tea, your go-to game day beverage for college football fans. It's unlike any hard beverage you've had before. It's made with real brewed tea and packs a flavorful punch with 5% alcohol and no carbonation. It's over the perfect balance of taste and refreshment that goes down smooth for every game day occasion. No need to settle for the usual. Twisted Tea turns up any occasion, especially when you're cheering for your favorite team. So you're tailgating in the stadium, you're in the parking lot, watching in a bar, or hosting friends at home. Twisted Tea is there to elevate the experience. It complements your love for college football and your passion for creating unforgettable moments. Let's toast to unforgettable game day experiences. Twisted Tea, the drink that fuels fun and celebrates your love for college football. Keep it twisted.
Now, a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. It can be tough to train your brain to stay in problem-solving mode when faced with a challenge in life, but when you learn how to find your own solutions, there's no better feeling. A therapist can help you become a better problem solver, making it easier to accomplish your goals, no matter how big or small. I've used therapy as a way to handle stress, clear negative thoughts, mentally relax a little. For me, it was a life changer. If you're thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option. It's convenient, accessible, affordable. It's entirely online. Get matched with a therapist after filling out a brief survey. Switch therapist anytime. When you want to be a better problem solver, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/MPW today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/MPW. We're also brought to you by Dead Soxy. They host our post-game show. Check out their exclusive selection of NIL products that directly give back to Ole Miss athletics. Dead Soxy knows that success on the field is directly impacted by what they contribute off the field. They want you to be a part of the solution, and they'll give you something in return, the coolest socks on the planet. You can get individual pairs or sign up for the NIL sock subscription. With the subscription, not only do you get membership perks and early access to exclusive collaborations, but you also receive a regular rotation of NIL socks when you want them. Go to deadsoxy.com/rebels to learn more. Do you hate losing games? Do you hate losing players? Do you hate paying for your insurance? If you said yes to those questions, Davey Ferris can help. He's partnered with the Grove Collective. He'll be donating 20% of all commissions and 10% of all renewals on both personal and commercial insurance policies. Davey can serve his customers in all 50 states. He's dedicated to making sure Ole Miss athletics succeeds in this era of college sports. So contact Davey at 214-715-7247 or via email at dferris@hillcoinsurance.com. Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? Those are some of the questions that can only be answered with the personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Sego with Sego Wealth Management specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan. Go to rebelsretire.com to learn more. Again, that's rebelsretire.com. And we're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, different names, same great products, people, and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer at 662-801-1777. Or if you live in Hernando, Memphis, that area, call Southern, 662-429-4429.
Kickstart a fresh fall routine with HelloFresh. HelloFresh handles all the meal planning and shopping to deliver everything you need to cook up a tasty meal right at home. They do the hard part, and you get to take the credit. With a busy fall schedule, doesn't always leave you the time to spare. And HelloFresh, you don't need to spend all evening in the kitchen to whip up a wholesome meal. They're quick and easy recipes and 15-minute meals. You can get a tasty dinner on the table in less time than it takes to get takeout or delivery. I've used HelloFresh multiple times over the course of the years. They make it easy. The recipes are very easy to follow. That is one thing for me is not the best cook in the world, but I can usually do it if you can make it simple for me. HelloFresh is able to do that. You just get the package in the mail, throw it in the fridge, and it's ready to go. They have all the good portions. They have good stuff there for you to feed the entire family with HelloFresh. So go to HelloFresh.com/50MPW. That's 50MPW. Use that code for 50% off. Plus 15% off the next 2 months. Again, that's HelloFresh.com/50MPW. That's the same as the code. Then put the code in 50MPW for 50% off plus 15% off the next 2 months with HelloFresh. So, looked at it. I saw this kind of interesting. I checked Dart and the pressure stuff. They put pressure on him basically 40% of his dropbacks on Saturday. Alabama did. He was under some duress on 39% of his dropbacks. What is more telling is he couldn't even get or he didn't. I guess couldn't is not the right word. He didn't get passes off most of those times. He had 7 dropbacks where he couldn't get a throw off at all because he was just under pressure and had to do something, take off, run, whatnot. They didn't blitz very much. They blitzed less than 25% of the time. It was almost all, as you said, base pressure.
They felt like they could get pressure with base, and they made that adjustment at the half, and they took passing lanes away from him.
And Ole Miss, there were times under Kiffin where they used the screen game a lot more. They've really gotten away from that recently. They tried to do it a little bit because I looked it up on Saturday morning. Texas hurt Alabama with Quinn Ewers with screen games and different things to kind of get them moving in different directions. Texas was really good about that, and it opened a lot of stuff up. Ole Miss attempted 4 screen passes and just simply didn't block them because they completed all 4. 4 for 4 on those. They went for a total of 8 yards. They just caught the ball and got hit immediately. Nothing there. Even their long was, looking for it here, 6 yards on four screen passes. Just simply could not get anything going whatsoever. Dart
So it
was
tells you
sacked
the
5
other
times.
3 went for a total of 2 yards.
Yeah. Dart was sacked 5 times.
Yeah, he got hit a lot.
Got hit a lot. He can't do that every week.
Well, he slid in the second half.
He did. Better slider than Corral at first. He got down better.
True. Sometimes Matt slid. And
He looked like he was going to tear every ACL.
You're break everything. Yeah. Jackson played a lot of baseball.
Okay.
And in all
fair.
fairness, I don't know that Matt was ever a baseball player.
Yeah, that's true.
Jackson played baseball at a really high level until because he didn't kind of commit to football until his junior year, I think, of high school.
Yeah. No, the one interception was a terrible decision. Horrible.
It was.
That was about it.
That was one. He's thrown 2 picks in 4 games.
Yeah.
He's been good.
It's been fine. Yeah.
Frankly, if before the season you'd have handed me Jackson Dart's stats for the first 4 games and said, what do you think? I'd been like, oh, man, they're 4-0. They're rolling. Then if you'd handed me Quinshon Judkins' stats for the first 4 games, I'd have said, oh.
This got weird all of a
Whether
sudden,
they lose
didn't it?
3 times?
Yeah.
And then got to give Alabama some credit for Saturday. They went in at the half and they fixed something from a protection standpoint. And they started dialing up plays that Milroe could get comfortable with. And as he started to play with a little more confidence, and they got that running game established, I remember Lane coming out of the half, Lane said, either on TV or he talked to the sideline reporter and she said it, that, hey, they're going to run the ball. They're getting ready to run it here. And they did. They ran it. They ran it effectively. They took control of the game. And so now that film's out there. Now you're going to play over the next 2 weeks. Nothing against Jalen Milroe because I thought he played really well and I thought he played really hard. And you could tell that the team likes him and plays for him. They're about to play 2 quarterbacks who are better than Jalen Milroe.
If there's a criticism of Dart on Saturday, it's total deep balls. Now, again, I don't remember one being overly wide open and tons of separation for the wide receiver. So this is relative. Okay?
This is where you'd love to see that coach's copy from behind.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it did not appear like Dart just missed some wide open receiver down the field. But 5 times on Saturday, he threw the ball more than 20 yards on a pass. So a deep pass, again, air yards more than 20. 0 for 5. No drops. Only one was turnover worthy, the one that was picked off. But none of the 5 are what PFF calls big time throws, meaning it was on target and that was like an NFL type throw. So they just got nothing out of the deep game whatsoever. 0 for 5, 1 pick. A bunch of nothing.
Well, one of the baffling things, and I'm sure.
And I think one of them was the Watkins throw at the end that he did overthrow Jordan.
Yeah.
In the end zone, that if you get it, you got to get the onside kick and the whole deal. But
Right.
he overthrew Watkins on that ball.
A lot of betting money got lost on that play.
Sure, yes.
They had the play early in the game. I want to say it was a 21-yard catch to Prescorn.
Yeah, that's correct.
In the middle of the field.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that they ever went back there again. Now, Alabama may have made an adjustment and took it away. I don't know enough. And watching on CBS, you're not going to get that. But they never went back to him. They only threw to him one more time, and it was kind of underthrown a little bit, and he didn't catch it. But it was a screen sort of play. He was gassed. You could tell he had not played in a while.
Yeah, sure. Got 60 snaps out of Franklin.
I mean, he played a ton. I think he caught 1 ball.
Yeah, that's the thing, is 60 snaps, 1 ball.
Yeah. Aiden Williams didn't play much.
2 snaps.
Braylon Brown's a non-factor. J.J. Henry is a non-factor. I heard about him in camp.
5 snaps.
Caden Lee had a touchdown against Mercer.
2 snaps.
He's a non-factor.
Trigg didn't play. 0.
Trigg didn't play. Wolf's hurt. Kyron Heath played some.
16 snaps. And they went away from Prescorn after the drop.
Trey
for
Harris,
whatever that looked like. Again,
Trey Harris played some snaps.
5 snaps.
Obvious he wasn't healthy.
They targeted him twice in 5 snaps. Lane said he was shocked he played, but they put him in there.
All right,
we'll get to Lane in a minute.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that in a minute but that's part of what's going on. This is 2 weeks in a row that we're playing mind games.
Real quick,
with injuries.
The deep ball thing, I checked because I was curious because we know he obviously did well. Jalen Milroe, this is the game.
Yeah,
Jalen Milroe on balls 20 yards downfield, 3 of 4 for 117 and a touch.
Yeah, he was who we thought he would be.
He could get the deep ball.
Yeah,
he has really improved his game. You look at the stats from last year on his deep balls, and they were horrid. Couldn't do it. And he's actually kind of dominant with deep balls this season.
I mean, I'm going to give their coaching staff some credit here. They put him in very comfortable situations. They called a game that fit his game.
He made one very critical error, and it was a hell of an error, and Saban said Golding just tricked him.
Yeah.
He kind of shrugged his shoulders and went, yeah, it happens, whatever.
Well, they're not asking him to be perfect.
No.
He can't be. Grind in the thread said he's a poor man's Jaden Daniels. Quite poor, but yes.
More physical of a runner, obviously.
Yeah, but doesn't have the – Daniels will kill you in the intermediate game. He will dice you up. He's very accurate. I'm impressed with Jaden
Milroe
Daniels.
is actually pretty similar to KJ.
Yeah, not as big, obviously.
Yeah, but they're not far off.
KJ's size and strength is one of his assets, obviously. I mean, he is a strong guy. Because he took some hits Saturday that you think, well, that's going to take him down. And he just kind of stays going.
Yeah, kept going.
He is a strong dude. I'll give him that.
But you mentioned it. Kiffin, the only injury update last night in his Sunday teleconference was talking about Trey Harris playing, I guess. I don't recall anything else.
Well, I don't even remember what he said.
He basically just said that he thinks all those guys are probably full speed this week, that they all kind of played but were rusty or hadn't practiced or whatnot. He said they knew Franklin and Prescorn were going to give it goes, but it was their first time post-surgery from doing that. And then Harris, they did not think he would play, but that he was kind of juiced up with adrenaline before the game, and they let him get a few snaps.
Yeah, probably not the only juice.
Yeah.
But yeah. And maybe he makes that big of a difference, right? I don't know. I mean, if he makes that big of a difference, then you've got to start asking questions about, so how did you get to a place as a wide receiver core where you are that dependent on a transfer from Louisiana Tech?
One of the reasons is the guy that you also brought in is now playing for some junior college in Texas.
Yeah. But now there was risk.
Sure. I mean, nobody went, hey, I'm guaranteeing Chris Marshall is going to be a good Samaritan for 36 months.
There's a Michael Trigg, Chris Marshall lesson to be learned.
Yeah, sure.
When blue blood programs, USC, Texas A&M,
yeah, sure,
let a guy with that kind of athleticism walk after one semester, I'm not saying you shouldn't go after them.
But the antenna goes up and goes, hey, you need to buy some insurance on this one.
But it is walking onto the beach and there are red flags everywhere. There's nobody to stop you from getting in the water.
And you might have a great day.
And you might end up just having the best day of your life. But the red flags are there for a reason. There's a riptide. Yeah. It's a little dangerous.
The shark may not get you.
It might get somebody else instead.
It might take your leg off.
And it might get you. The red flags are there for a reason. And with Chris Marshall, there were red flags whipping on the beach. Yeah. Just, you couldn't miss them. They rolled the dice and they missed.
Yeah, sure. Whatever. Lane was Lane last night. I thought he was trying to move on in a de-emphasizing way after the week that he had. Kind of did it with Twitter too. Made a couple tweets about, crediting Alabama, about gonna miss the game and the contest and all that kind of stuff. And two questions that he kind of raised my antenna on yesterday. First was Jake Thompson from On3 asked him about how does the play calling work right now?
Mm-hmm.
And Lane made some barb about how, yeah, sure, you ask about it after a game doesn't go well. And it's like, no, I mean, actually, the fan base has been wanting that question for weeks and seasons, Lane, actually.
Yeah.
It is not simply because you scored 10 points, but you did score 10 points. It's part of the job. You make $9 million, answer the question.
Well, and look, you've put up all these yards, yes, but you did 73 of the points came against Mercer. Okay? You played Mercer. That's fine. LSU played Grambling.
Yeah, sure.
Right. It's cool. Whatever. You didn't light Tulane up. And then you scored a whole bunch of points late against Georgia Tech to make that game look like something that for 3+ quarters it wasn't.
38.
So it's a legitimate question.
Well, Lane is kind of, and again, this is actually not his fault. This is sort of a media fan base fault. Lane, for a long time, has got the benefit of the doubt that if something goes really well, it's his credit, and if something goes poorly, it's on Weiss.
Who's that remind you of?
I know, but it's true. Hey, you throw the flip card and say Lane called up a hell of a play and he did this and he's wonderkin. And then, hey, they got really bogged down. Well, I mean, damn, Weiss, you got to fire him. And it's like, well, it can't be all of whatever. And I mean, Lane said, look, they called the offense. Talking about Lebby and Weiss, I think was the way he was answering the question since he had been at Ole Miss. And he goes, I interject. We pick the plays during the week. Sometimes I say things. I
let them do their jobs.
Yeah, essentially. And I think what happened on Saturday, too, is it seemed like the TV cameras were catching more of him talking into the thing as the game was going on. So, I mean, it piques your interest. You go, hold on a minute. That looks different than maybe we had seen it in the past, and maybe it's circumstantial, maybe it's not. I don't know, but it's worth the question. And he de-emphasized that he wasn't snippy yesterday.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well,
he got asked about tempo, and he goes, what do you mean tempo? Y'all don't ask that. And then he comes back and basically admits that they've slowed down since Harris went out. I mean, I thought he was irritated.
It was Chuck. Chuck said something along the lines of, so do you think you're just slower because? And Lane goes, well, you said I was slow. I didn't say that. That was his answer. But then he did say we had to slow down since Tulane because Trey Harris was out of the game. We've had to substitute more. We got wide receiver issues. That was the non-verbatim answer he gave.
Yeah.
I guess I couldn't read it because it's a teleconference. I can't see his face.
Right.
I don't know if he was being snippy or if he was almost trying to, in his way, engage in barb and do sort of a...
That's a good point.
I almost kind of felt like he was trying to be collegial in a way.
Oh, okay.
I read him more, I'm going to make some jokes and try to, like, poke you a little, but it's not in the way when I'm really, really annoyed. It was more of like...
I hadn't thought about it like that. Maybe so.
I'm camaraderieing here right now. I don't know. Again, couldn't see his face. You can typically tell that more in normal press conferences where you can gauge his body language. And
yeah,
I have no idea. We're on Zoom,
and he's not typically that way with us, so it's hard to say. I'm surprised that he's 2 weeks in a row. And look, I'm assuming it's him, right? With Chris Lowe, guys are doubtful, and then they play 60 snaps.
Yeah, what's up?
I don't get it.
Why? Because there's no reason in the world Chris Lowe should be wrong on Ole Miss injury reports ever.
No.
So why is Lane?
It's one of the reasons when people do the whole Lane Kiffin was never thinking about Auburn. I go, look at Chris Lowe. Okay.
He's his number one dude.
I mean,
has been for a long time.
I mean, I'm not going to say he was a mouthpiece. That's not fair to Chris, but Chris is a friendly reporter to those guys. Nick Saban referred to him as a friend
on Thursday night.
I don't know how many reporters that Nick Saban would call a friend.
Yeah.
Might respect them, but I don't know how many he would call a friend. Chris is able to get a level of access inside programs that most reporters never get. This is a compliment to Chris.
Mm-hmm.
But that's 2 weeks in a row that a player was doubtful for the game day show. And I know that Chris has to contribute to game day shows because I've talked to him before on a Saturday morning when he's like, hey, I got to go do this game day thing. And that was odd. Said Priestcorn was doubtful. Priestcorn was clearly not doubtful.
The whole week he was playing.
Zachary Franklin was doubtful. Zachary Franklin very clearly wasn't doubtful. Trey Harris, sure, I can buy the doubt there.
Yeah, sure.
But I don't know. And so you can't just go, well, it's Alabama because he did it the week before with Georgia Tech with Quinshon Judkins. I don't know what that's all about. I don't know the games that are being played or why they're being played. I'm at a loss, really. I didn't see this before.
Lane's, and we'll get into all the games and other stuff in a minute. Lane's social media answer, I kind of had to sit there and read it and go back through it a couple times because it was he was asked about a tweet that, and I guess I can find it. He said
Chuck
he took the blame.
Chuck asked him about the tweet where Lane said that he took the blame, and he said, "Why did you do that? Why is it all on you?" And Lane came back with an answer.
Because I think what Chuck was trying to get at was, are you referring to something during the week that you put an overemphasis or whatever on it? I think that was the possible premise of the question. Because otherwise, I don't know why it would be whatever. Because of course, head coach taking blame is not overly surprising.
But his answer,
Did you delete it?
Lane, I don't know.
I can't find it.
His answer was essentially, well, the players hear a lot on social media. And when they hear it on social media, for whatever reason, it resonates more with them. And again, I'm paraphrasing, more with them than when they hear it like from the crowd. He's like, when you're walking off the field and the crowd goes, you suck, they don't really hear that. But when they read it on their phones, it
impacts them.
It impacts them, and they're on their phones all day, every day, like everybody else is now.
Yeah.
But certainly people that age.
And all that's true.
And all that's true.
Yeah, I don't see that tweet with Knox on the thing is not on his Twitter account.
Okay.
I don't know. I went to look for the tweet and it is not there. He goes from the pictures going in to just his tweet yesterday where he said, misplaying you guys, always challenging, preparing, blah, blah, blah. Goal standard, blah, 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 blah. That's it. So I don't know. But the point is, you're really concerned with social media, but then you did all the stuff you did all week. It's like, well,
listen, he could deny this.
Is the impetus then that he was trying to give his guys confidence on social media all week?
I don't. He could deny this all he wants, and that's fine. He's certainly entitled to his opinion, and I'm entitled to mine. I think Alabama is totally in his head. I think he's obsessed with that game, and I think he thought he was going to win that game. And Jackson Dart said as much. They thought this was the time they'd get him.
Yeah, sure.
That's what he said. And I think very clearly Lane thought that. Lane doesn't typically, you correct me if I'm wrong, I don't follow his Twitter as closely as everyone else.
Sure.
When they played at Tulane, I don't recall Lane tweeting pictures of the road on the way into the Tulane Stadium.
No, I don't think
when
so.
they played at Arkansas last year, and maybe I missed it. If I did, please correct me. I don't recall pictures of the drive from Rogers to Fayetteville.
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't recall a picture of when they turn off of Martin Luther King to get on, I don't know the name of the road, the one that goes all the way down the stadium where the players pull in. I don't recall that. Maybe he did. It's different for him. Like I wrote in 10 Thoughts yesterday. I think it's a positive for him and for Ole Miss that game is not on the schedule next year. I think for him it is bright and shiny and flashing like Vegas at night. He just can't take his eyes off of it.
He messes with his head. There's no doubt about that.
He's obsessed with it. But it's done now. There's a lot of football left. And he doesn't play them next season.
Yeah.
So he should be able to put that one away.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, late last season, it combined with the Auburn thing. But it's my point to earlier, right, is this to me is the challenge of this week. The Alabama game last year not only was the end of the Alabama game, it was the end of any title hopes. Now, it turned out that that game didn't have title ramifications because LSU ran the table. But you didn't know that in early November that, hey, nobody was going to get LSU. In fact, earlier that day, Arkansas had damn near got LSU. So you're like, Arkansas is 6-6. They can if they can do it, maybe somebody can, right? Maybe A&M would get them. I think the assumption was
A&M did get them, but
A&M did get them. Just turned out not to matter because everybody lost games. But there was this assumption that if you could beat Alabama that day and run the table, that you'd have a real shot to get to Atlanta, which turns out would have been true. They would have. But when they lost to Alabama, and that was off the table too, that team kind of lost its edge. And you know the rest of the story. So to me, the critical part of Saturday is, again, if you win, there's still a lot to play for. I mean, I think you can convince yourself, hey, Alabama could lose twice.
Yeah, sure.
Now, you got to beat Georgia for that to matter.
That's not today's problem, though.
But that's not today's problem. You can worry about that down the road. But you lose to LSU? I mean, the reality is you wake up on Sunday, turn the calendar to October, and go, what are we playing for?
Yeah, to go to Disney World.
I mean, we're okay. I guess if we don't lose again or just lose to Georgia, we can go to one of the Florida Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
That's not exactly the same fuel as, hey, we can make the playoff.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? So that's his challenge this week. Someone was trying to say this is the biggest game he's coached. The atmosphere went from being like circus carnival, this is incredible, let's go for the moon, to you damn well better win it. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on Ole Miss, on Kiffin to win this game Saturday.
Yeah, different level of tension.
It's a totally different kind of pressure, but it's there.
Yeah. Podcast brought to you by the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation. Single game football tickets, including LSU this weekend, on sale. That's OleMissTix.com to get your tickets for that. And remember, the Ole Miss basketball headed back to Tad Smith Coliseum for a game this season, Sam Houston State, in November. It's not on TV, not streamed. You got to be in the building. OleMissTix.com to get tickets for that event. Doing a bunch of recognizing a lot of stuff. They got VIP packages with some neat things involved with that as well. So again, that's OleMissTix.com there with that to get your basketball tickets. Also, podcast also brought to you by G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area and offer medicine for your prescriptions the same time each month and take care of you. You can transfer your medications, one phone call, they take care of the rest. So in Holly Springs or Oxford, 662-236-2222.
Our next partner is Athletic Greens. I drink AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted better gut health, sustained energy, immune system support, and I hate taking pills. I drink AG1 every morning, first thing. I love knowing I'm doing something good for my body, giving my body the nutrition it craves, covering my nutritional bases. Covering my nutritional bases for the day literally couldn't be easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix one small scoop of AG1 with water, drink it first thing each morning, done. I also like that it costs less than $3 a day. It's pretty good if you ask me. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients. It's a win-win. If a comprehensive solution is what you need for your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Just go to athleticgreens.com/MPW. That's athleticgreens.com/MPW. Check it out. We are also brought to you by our friends at, hold on, I'm catching up on something. At A-Stock. A-Stock's a Nashville-based online retail company. They've got the power to provide their customers the power to name their price. All items start at just $1. That's right. Every item starts at just $1, no matter what the retail value may be. Shop now at astock.bid. That's ASTOCK.BID. Or download their app. Name your price on thousands of items from big-name retailers. A-Stock has multiple locations around Nashville as well as Memphis, some in Indiana, and more coming soon that offer local pickups. So don't miss out. The College Corner is coming is in Oxford now. If you're coming up this weekend, stop by. It's in the Oxford Commons right off of Sisk Avenue. They've got more than 4,000 square feet of the best Rebel gear. Plenty of parking available. Their staff's going to have you in and out, ready for the Grove in no time. It's, again, off Sisk, just in the Oxford Commons. They also have 2 locations in the Jackson area, and you can always go to collegecornerstore.com. Game Changer patches are the only 2-patch system available in the market to stop hangovers before they start. The warm-up patch used before or while you drink. The overtime patch used after you've been drinking to recover while you sleep. The all-natural ingredients will keep you in the game and ready for your next play. Go to GameChangerPatch.com, enter the promo code Rebel Grove 20 at checkout for 20% off your purchase. And we're brought to you by Pinnacle based in Madison, Mississippi. They've got clients in more than 20 states, advisors in multiple states. They provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much, much more. It's mypinwealth.com, MYPINN wealth.com.
Fall is here, gentlemen. It's time to get busy during the holidays. Don't let that stop you from sticking to the habits and being the best version of yourself. That's where our friends at Caldera Lab come in. Guys are the best in the skincare game with an easy routine. Keep your face looking pretty no matter your schedule. Plus, what's a better gift than clear skin? Join the other 100,000 men who trust Caldera Lab to show your best self and first impression this fall. Plus, it is a great gift. They create high-performance men's skincare products, and the regimen leads off their product lineup. Twice-a-day routine to transform your skin. They know the skincare world is heavily female-driven and has long been the wild, wild west for men. That's why they're making this solution simple. It includes 3 products: the Clean Slate, the Base Layer, and the Good. The Clean Slate starts and ends your day. This face wash leaves all skin types refreshed. The Base Layer is your daily moisturizer to hydrate your skin and jumpstart your day full of confidence. And the Good is your go-to multifunctional serum at night to make your skin look tighter and smoother and reduce the visibility of wrinkles and fine lines. Every drop is packed with 3.4 million antioxidant units protecting your skin. They're a leader in the men's skincare game, made with only top-tier ingredients. Clinical trials have found 94% of men's skin showed an overall younger-looking appearance after using Caldera Lab for just a few weeks. 1 minute morning and night, it's all it takes to reduce your wrinkles, fine lines, and signs of aging. And just for our audience, we have a great deal. You're not beating this offer. Use MPW at calderalab.com. 20% off right now. Get 20% off with MPW at calderalab.com to make unforgettable first impressions with the best gift this holidays. Get into, let's see, lines for the week. I guess you sent those yesterday, did you not?
I did. The Georgia line, Georgia at Auburn, is the craziest line.
Oh, I haven't even seen it yet, so I'll be shocked in a second. I was going to mention this earlier because we went through a couple of these, but outside of the starters, Bentley 19 snaps, Heath 16, Jaden Williams 15 snaps, Henry 5, Acker 5, Harris 5, Aiden Williams 2. Golding found a way to get Perkins involved on Saturday, and he was like excellent.
Well, here's the thing.
He made huge steps on Saturday.
I say this every year, and then I don't do it. I'm going to do it this next year. It's going to be really boring, but I'm not going, just because they walk around telling people, hey, this freshman, they were the ones that were hyping Aiden Williams. Now, he looked great in the part that we saw. Maybe something happened 2 weeks in. I don't know. But he was making plays day after day.
101 is just destroying them.
And they were tweeting out stuff about him. And now he's just disappeared. He made a mistake against Tulane, but he started against Georgia Tech out of necessity, I guess. But Zachary Franklin comes in, and that's that. I don't understand it. There was a lot of J.J. Henry buzz, Caden Lee buzz in camp. And those guys don't get on the field. They're not part of the passing attack. And I don't know what that is. And no, before anybody thinks that I'm attacking Derek Nix, I'm absolutely not attacking Derek Nix, so stop. The question is, why can't they game plan those guys into games?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they're not good enough. But if they're not good enough, well, you signed them.
Yeah, why? That's the question.
Their success at wide receiver has come from guys they inherited, Elijah Moore, Braylon Sanders, or transfer guys that they signed. Brought in Malik Keith, Dontario Drummond, Trey Harris, the tight end from he was there the first year. I can't remember.
Kenny Yeboah.
Thank you.
Tipple.
Thank you. I'm getting old.
It's okay.
The guys that they've signed, they haven't gotten a lot out of them. Got a ton out of Elijah. Obviously, 90 catches or whatever.
Sure.
But he was already there. They got a lot out of Braylon Sanders, and Braylon's an NFL talent, but he was already there. I don't understand that part of it.
I want to get this right. So I'm pulling it up. 4 games. Receiving. Players Ole Miss signed out of high school receiving. Aiden Williams, 3 catches, 66 yards through 4 games. Fewer snaps pretty much by the week. I guess technically Kyron Heath, 4 catches, 60 yards.
Okay.
Caden Lee, 1 catch, 34 yards. Touchdown against Mercer.
Right.
Braylon Brown, 1 catch. They signed Henry?
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 7, 10 catches so far this season for pass catchers Lane Kiffin has signed out of high school. 10 total catches.
Yeah.
Out of 78 catches as a team. So 1 out of 8 catches is by someone that they signed out of high school. And frankly, that's a lot of mop-up time because...
Sure. Again, they beat Mercer 73-7.
And that's with injuries to your top 3 guys.
Yes.
Which would create the depth that should elevate that number. Because even if you brought in the portal guys who are your premium guys, that's all with those guys hurt for 3.5 games, depending on how you want to base last week. And still nothing came up.
You look around and other people are playing young guys.
Jalen Knox, 1 catch.
It just hasn't.
It's just nothing.
Just didn't. To this point, that just hasn't happened.
No. Just noticing it. Friday night, you in on Utah at Oregon State?
Yeah.
Or your Beavers lost you now?
No, I'm
They
still
lost
good.
the game. They're out.
I'm still good.
You jumping on somebody else's bandwagon now?
I mean, maybe down the road, but not right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Just wonder.
Got to lose at least twice before I abandon you.
BYU at 9:15 going to get your attention on Friday night?
Probably not.
Hosting Cincinnati?
It's certainly not.
Big 12 clash?
No, I'm good. I mean, realistically, Friday night, I probably will be stressed out watching Cubs Brewers.
No.
Yeah.
Charlie Morton out for an LDS.
Saw that.
Yeah. Can't wait for the Braves to get swept in 3 games. And
They got some issues right now.
They do. They do, for sure.
I'm sure they'll fix it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Juggernaut for 3 days.
Acuna hit like 11 home runs in 3 days.
40-70 club.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
40-70.
He's amazing.
You'd love to got some odds like 4 years ago before the rule change was ever possible. Said, hey, in 2023, some dude's going to steal 70 bases. You know what? You've lost your effing mind.
Yeah, like nobody's even going to try to steal 70 bases.
Yeah, teams won't have 70 steals. Clemson only giving Syracuse 7 at the Carrier Dome on Saturday, or whatever the hell they call the Carrier Dome now.
Yeah, that's an odd line.
That is an odd line.
Mm-hmm.
SC giving Colorado 22.
Lay them.
SC can't stop anyone. People we're doing the thing like kind of the one game thing. And look, I get SC can't stop anybody. We've been saying it all year. It's what Lincoln Riley does.
Right.
However, Arizona State was injured, banged up, and not great, and they were scoring points everywhere.
I know.
On Saturday. I mean, you looked up and went, oh, that's not good.
Well, SC's not running the Pac-12 table. It's not going to happen.
Oregon's better. Washington's better.
Dude, let me tell you. Look, we got lots of time this week.
What are we doing? What are you talking about?
People need to keep another eye on Washington.
There might be real.
They look the part.
Michael Penix just up there throwing touchdowns. I mean, that's all he does.
He'd be in New York today if the Heisman ceremony were today.
Nix would too.
Yeah. Bo Nix is having a hell of a season.
It's got to be like some PTSD stuff for Auburn fans, right? He's up there just rolling, and you've got this stuff going on over here.
And you've got that quarterback room.
Because Auburn's defense is pretty good. You hand Hugh Bo Nix right now and cooking.
Ooh. They'd be interesting.
They'd be cooking.
Because defensively, they held their own with A&M the other day.
Good. Yeah. I know. But yes, I'm laying the 22 SC against Oregon on Saturday.
I acknowledge that Oregon's probably going to score some points. I mean, that Colorado's going to score some points, but
Deion said he's keeping receipts, and you just better get him now.
Okay.
Better get him now.
Okay.
It's the worst they're ever going to be.
The reactions on Colorado is probably a reflection of our country's climate right now. I mean, come on.
Well, it was the backpedaling. You went from, oh my God, they're the best story in sports, they're whatever, to, well, I mean, they just don't have any talent, and we knew this was coming. It's like, hold on a minute. No, that's not what you said last week.
It's not what you said.
Yeah. No, you made it out to be, I mean, Dennis, you said that Colorado had more brand exposure than Ohio State and Alabama right now as programs.
Yeah, I mean,
come on.
Boy, there's some media people that just, I don't know, they're not making much money. They just have big jobs.
A&M -7 in Arlington against the Razorbacks. We don't know Connor Wegman's situation at this point.
My guess is that he's out.
Then I'm going to take my points and expect Arkansas to muddy this game up.
I think so.
This game's typically close.
It's typically close.
Arkansas frustrates A&M and kind of bogs it down. Backup quarterback. I know Max Johnson's fine, but let's not make it into something
Arkansas's
crazy.
question will be this.
Sanders may be back.
He might be back. Arkansas's question will be this. It's going to be. It's amazing how similar Arkansas and Ole Miss kind of are in some ways. If Arkansas's tackles can hold up, and I mean penalties and avoid and give KJ some time, I think Arkansas will win the game. If they don't, they can't. It's going to come down to their tackles. Can their tackles hold up against what is a very talented Texas A&M front four? I mean, really, really good. Yeah. They gave Auburn fits. And maybe Auburn's offensive line sucks. I don't know. But Texas A&M's defensive line was just disruptive against Auburn. And if they do it again against Arkansas, they'll beat Arkansas. Now, on the flip side, if they don't, I actually like Arkansas's chances. They played a really good game in Baton Rouge.
They did. Spent a lot.
To their credit. They spent a lot. Made LSU spend a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But they played really well. They corrected some things from the week before. They still had the same issues, offensive line, jumping, but they got better, and they're going to get Sanders back here in the next couple of weeks, and we'll see.
Yes, I save NFL for Tuesday, but to answer your question, well, I need another day to process what happened to the Saints in multiple areas and ways yesterday. I was not ready to talk about that just today anyway. I have found myself pulling against Sean Payton pretty hard, frankly. I laughed at him giving up 70 and how many ever yards yesterday. And that's from somebody, and I have no reason for this. I don't necessarily like Miami. I usually typically pull against the Dolphins. I have there's zero emotional whatever behind it. But if two teams are playing and the Dolphins are on the screen, I'm normally against the Dolphins for whatever reason. I don't know. But I mean, I don't care. But I found myself kind of wanting to see just how high they could run it up yesterday and just kind of keep going.
They ran it up pretty high.
I have to give the reporter asked a terrible question, but I did really enjoy it yesterday, him asking Sean Payton something about, don't you kind of consider this sort of historic? You give up this many yards and points, and he said something else, and Sean goes, is there a question in this? And he goes, well, I mean, is it not just like historically remarkable? And Sean looked like he wanted to combust in ways that are hard to put into words, but got quite the rebuild going on there in Denver. Florida and Kentucky. Kentucky -2.5 against the Gators. I don't know what to make of Florida. I got nothing. It's an ugly game. They don't score a ton of points. They're pretty good defensively.
I mean, I think I'll take Kentucky and lay the points.
Well, because Kentucky is comfortable in these kind of games. This is their.
We don't give him enough credit. We really don't. They're super steady. They don't rock the boat. They just kind of do their thing. They get them to basketball season every year. At a place that wasn't that long ago, they sucked all the time. And now they're pretty good. They're fine. Never an embarrassment, really.
I don't know what I'm doing with that game yet. I don't know.
Yeah.
I got to think about it.
Yeah.
Ugh. I don't know if Tulane's getting Pratt back this week, but they're -21.5 against UAB, who gave Georgia a little bit of a game for a half on Saturday.
Yeah.
Trent Dilfer's squad played hard.
They did. And you have to assume that Georgia was playing with its food.
Big game for your Jags this week at James Madison.
Yeah. It was rough.
Tall order
coming off a really disappointing loss.
Oh, they lost Central Michigan?
Mm-hmm. Last play.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
James Madison -3.5 at home against the Jags.
Be a tough assignment.
Scrolling through. Kansas and Texas. The Longhorns giving 17 to the 4-0 Jayhawks. I mean, Texas is going to win the game, but sure. What?
It's kind of an opportunity for them to sort of make a statement a little bit with Kansas getting some pub. They could pop them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Auburn at home getting 14.5 from the Bulldogs.
What am I missing?
Georgia can't score. They can't score.
Well, neither can Auburn. Can they score 17 points?
I know we do that, but
I mean, I'm not sure Auburn's scoring against that defense.
I kind of think I'm taking Auburn.
Oh, wow.
Georgia can't score.
All right, I get
They
it.
haven't played anyone. They scored 27 points against South Carolina.
That's true.
South Carolina defensively is not good. Will Rogers looked decent, pretty good against South Carolina last week.
Well, not to pile on here, but if everybody's right and Georgia can't score and Georgia's super vulnerable, people might really look back on the Alabama game and go, wow, what if?
I didn't say super vulnerable because their defense is just this big brick wall that stands in front of you. But Beck doesn't look it. I mean, Georgia media was kind of spinning the, hey, he did some good things. It's like you're playing UAB. Did some good things. Thanks.
I know.
That fixed it. I get they scored in the 40s, but because they get the ball over and over and over again. Nobody does anything against them. So they're 3 and out, no first downs. They just get the ball back, and they get the ball back, and they get the ball back, and they still don't score. I've said all this. They're going to score 58 points against Auburn this week, but whatever. It's fine. I'm fat and happy. I'm resting on my
Kirby would probably
titles.
like to.
Well, he would. There's no doubt about that. Let's see.
Kirby and Hugh, did they ever have a kerfuffle?
I don't think so.
Recruiting trails and such?
Oh, well, I mean,
Laramie.
Yeah, that'd have been. Yeah. Was Kirby there yet?
No, that was still rigged, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's so.
Kirby's first
year was the stomping in Oxford.
Yeah, I wonder if he remembers that one.
Because that was bad. Ole Miss popped him.
Yeah. He probably does remember it.
I think so. But again, Kirby, I mean, at least publicly, go Dogs.
Yeah.
Go Dogs.
Nothing. Nothing.
Off field, got plenty for you, but
yeah.
No. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Just
machine.
Run my program. Machine.
This is where Neal gives a lot. Drinkwitz tons of credit. 13.5 in West End on Saturday. 13.5 at Vanderbilt.
They keep winning. They're ranked this week.
The fact that they're ranked.
Well, they are.
I know. What is my deal?
I don't know why you hate him so much. I don't get it.
It drives me insane.
The more I hear about him, the more I'm like, I actually think I'd kind of get along with him. He would irritate me.
He's smart.
I think he's
He's pretty well adjusted for a football coach.
I was going to say I think he is a less gimmicky, self-obsessed Hugh Freeze.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similarities between the two. One's more comfortable in his own skin.
There actually are very similar when Hugh lets his guard down.
Yeah.
That, at least to my understanding of Drinkwitz, I've never met the man.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't met him either. But
only sports can make you go, I got all these opinions on a dude that I've never been in the same state with.
I mean, obviously, I'm good friends with someone who covers him.
Yeah, sure.
And so I hear a lot of Drinkwitz stuff.
Yeah, I get it.
And he's generally okay.
Yeah, all right.
From a local media standpoint, yeah, I think he's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's a lot of Freeze similarities.
Yeah, I get it. 13.5, I'm just laying it. I'm not taking Vanderbilt to cover anything.
No.
I refuse.
No.
So whatever you want to do.
Whatever.
It's fine.
Kentucky covered 14. I'll just lay it again. I'm not going to lose a Vanderbilt.
If you've got like TV4 in your man cave, Memphis -3 at Boise State. I mean, against Boise State's an interesting game on Saturday, sort of.
Yeah.
You go, okay. I can turn my head sideways and kind of get it. LSU, that line is down to 3.
Yeah, I had it at 2.5 yesterday.
Oh, okay. It was at 5 at one point. LSU -3 at Ole Miss.
I mean, my initial is lay 'em.
Yeah. No, I get it. We'll get into it as the week goes on.
I mean, just matchup standpoint, can Ole Miss's tackles hold up against their pass rush?
That's the question to me.
If they can, you've got a real shot.
Yeah.
If they can't, you have no shot.
Can Dart operate, and can they do anything intermediately and down the field? And can you run it all?
And can you guard neighbors?
Yeah. And how are you guarding him?
their ability to get yards after catch.
And Daniels is going to try to give you it a couple times, so take it when he gives it to you.
Yes.
Catch the football.
Don't let him get rolling because he's really hard to stop once he gets going. And he will extend plays with his feet.
Yeah.
He's a very crafty quarterback.
He is.
I'm a fan of his. I think he's really good. But look, if they don't have Malik Neighbors, they lose Saturday night.
They do.
He was the difference. Defensively, you can go get them, but you can only get them if you hold up on the edges. If you don't hold up on the edge against that pass rush, they will get you. They will absolutely get you out of your game, and you start asking way too much of your quarterback.
Yeah. Take a break, tell you about Prime Shrimp. PrimeShrimp.com. 7 different flavors available for you. Everything from the New Orleans style barbecue, the signature. It's great protein options. Great for lunch. Great for dinner when you're really, really busy. Let Prime Shrimp help you. You get it delivered straight to your door. Buy 5 pouches or more and get 25% off with code RG. That's code RG with PrimeShrimp.com.
Brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you're thinking about a trip that you want to create a lifetime of unique memories, you need to get in touch with my friend John. He is going to give you some parameters. I mean, you give him some parameters. You give him a budget. He's going to give you options that you're just not going to find on your own. You don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of the services. He's terrific. 901-494-3387 or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. Oxford's newest Greek restaurant on the Square is the perfect place to plan your festive party event, your company dinner, your Christmas party. OPA can accommodate up to 200 guests. They have fabulous food, great craft libations as well. For catering or booking information, call Jeannie 601-421-7147. We'll have our picks up on Thursday. They're brought to you by Service Specialist Staffing and Recruiting Agency, connecting great job opportunities to candidates since 1967. If you're on the job hunt, whether you're seeking an entry-level position or you're a seasoned professional, they have opportunities across the board. IT, engineering, dentistry, accounting, law, manufacturing, human resources, or more. They can help you at Service Specialists. It's always free for the candidate, so you've got nothing to lose. Give Will, Sydney, or Kelsey a call at 662-832-5138 or check out their new and improved website, servicespecialistltd.com. Get the beautiful and healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself. It's corinthdental.com.
Podcast is brought to you by Johnson Hill Creamery, johnsonhillcreamery.com. They got their great tailgating packages, and obviously for LSU, you wanted to go ahead, get things scheduled, take care of what you got going on campus for tailgating this weekend, because it's really easy. You order right there on the website. You pick up at Chicory Market. You just specify the game you're ordering for. If you'd like to pick up on Friday or Saturday, they got tons of charcuterie trays. They got desserts. They got crudité. They got stuff for you, including their cheesecake dip is fantastic. They feed 10, 20, or 40, depending on what you need with their packages. So, again, that is johnsonhillcreamery.com. Let's see. Notre Dame, suddenly this game is interesting. They put all that into Ohio State.
Oh, yeah.
At Duke on Saturday for game day. 5.5, the Fighting Irish, giving the Blue Devils.
I don't hate Duke here
at all.
Either.
Getting those guys back up after that travesty on Saturday. Ohio State scores on the last play of the game, and you only had 10 men on the field. You basically gave them the lane that they scored in.
You didn't basically give it to them. You gave it to them. Be hard to get back from that one. You talk about a flat practice today.
I was really pulling for Notre Dame for whatever reason.
I was too.
Were you? I wanted Hartman to do well, and I don't know Sam Hartman.
You know, it's a funny thing. I hear Ryan Day interviewed, and I like him.
Uh-huh.
I see him on the sideline, and I don't.
Really?
It's a bizarre thing.
What did we get into Saturday for suddenly coaches decided to yell at senior citizens for comments made? Ryan Day goes after Holtz.
Yeah, he goes after Holtz.
And then the Washington State dude goes after Corso. What are we doing? You're Ohio State. Do you need disrespect? Because go beat Michigan. What are you doing?
Well,
What the hell are we doing?
And I got
Either you're Ohio State or you're not. Basically, you're proving their point right now by doing this. You're soft. You're worried about that?
Agreed.
Go run it.
And I get why Washington State's pissed off. I do. They're pissed off.
They're just in a bad mood, and I don't blame them.
But you're going to take it out on Lee Corso. And by the way,
college football's teddy bear. What are we doing?
And that show, I know this is sacrilegious to people. It's just bad. It's not good anymore. It's not entertaining. It's not funny. It's not informative. It's just this show that people watch because they've always watched it. It needs a total reboot. You've got one guy on there who's trying to be this personality who's stretched way too thin. Herb Street's pretty good. The rest of them, there's just not much there. And I would hope that if I got to that point in life, if I'm fortunate enough to live that long,
I mean, this is it, right?
I would hope that someone who loves me, like the 4 people on earth that love me, I would hope that one of them would come to me and say, hey, Dad or Neal or whatever, it's time. Let's take Saturday off. Let's enjoy the Saturdays you have left. Let's relax. I would hope, because it's unwatchable. It's not a good show.
Do they have? Because it's a nostalgic audience. It's kind of the same audience over and over and over and over again. Do they have market research that says they just want to continue to see this thing?
I don't know. I don't know whether it's that
or it's almost like Joe Paterno and he just won't leave and you can't fire him and it's letting him choose his own time.
I don't know. No, I mean Clark says, "How do you hate something so much that you say you never watch?" But you get bombarded with it on social media. It's everywhere. I mean, and I'll see it on, and I'll give it 5 minutes, and it's horrible. And the only people that like it are it's the nostalgia people. That's it.
It's the preview show that is like Mike and Mike used to be in the morning. It's just a palate cleanser for the day.
Sure.
We're going to line it up. We're going to tell you who's hurt. We're going to give you some very basic stuff. And then we're going to let everybody else talk about this stuff all day.
Yeah.
It is your setup show. Frankly, I don't think it's supposed to be compelling. I think it's just, hey, we are a 3-hour filter that's going to give some neat stuff from a campus, and we got a story or two, and here's the very base.
They're going to bring a celebrity in stuff at the end to make some picks, right?
I think it actually accomplishes the thing they want it to look like.
I saw the picks because I was tuning in for the beginning of Texas A&M Auburn, which was supposed to start at 11. So I had it on, and I turned it to ESPN, got on my bike right there.
Yeah, sure.
And was waiting for it to come on, and they had to do 5 more minutes of stuff before they went to College Station, which was fine. I didn't miss anything. But I saw the picks segment. It's just, I don't know. Like I said, it's you criticize that show, and hardcore college football fans get angry. I get it 100%.
Tennessee minus 12.5 hosting South Carolina.
Line's about right.
Yeah, it's a weird. I don't know what to make of Tennessee. I knew they were going to blow out UTSA because they beat the hell out of bad teams. And without a healthy Frank Harris, UTSA's bad.
Bad, sure.
So that was fine. Iowa giving it 11.5. Can they score 11.5? Michigan State on Saturday. Michigan State's awful. Probably. This feels like a lay-em, actually.
They probably cover this line because
it's hard to get to 325 when you have a 0. A 0 affects the 325. What they're allowing that man to do to his own program is criminal.
Yes. They've
allowed a coach that has been ultra successful and done a hell of a job for so long make a mockery of the program publicly.
Frankly, they should fire Kirk Ferentz.
They should.
This
is beyond because you hired your family, you've allowed your program to be a laughingstock. These stories on Sunday morning nationally are about this stupid drive for 325.
Yes. That you created this stupid narrative. You did it. It's on you. They should fire him. Because that should be at least on a scale of 1 to 10, a 7 job.
Yeah. It's a fine job. It's a good job.
Yeah.
It's fine. West Virginia TCU has a chance to kind of be fun on Saturday. TCU minus 11.5. That's a big line for that game.
West Virginia kind of
they're hanging in,
figuring it out a little bit.
They're kind of being the Big 12 Missouri a little bit, just winning some games.
Yeah.
Neal Brown.
Yeah. He had to win some games, and he is.
Alabama giving 14.5 in Starkville on Saturday.
What's the over-under?
52.
Don't hate the under.
Oh. Yeah, I don't either. I'm pretty good with that. I don't mind that at all.
I think Alabama covers that.
And then, Neal, at 9:30 on Saturday night, you'll be tuning in to Nevada and Fresno State to get your final game of the day.
No, I will be done.
Actually, at 9 o'clock, you get Washington.
Who are they playing?
Arizona.
A
lot of points coming in that one, baby. 70 is the over-under on that one.
5 o'clock kick, done at 8:15. I leave the press box at about 10:15-ish.
That's about right.
Yeah.
Flip on for Washington, Arizona.
You flip it on for a minute, and you're like, what's on the cooking channel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got more?
Yeah. We'll have What He Said, What He Meant later today. That's brought to you by Andy Ludicky at myperfectfranchise.net. If you're a displaced corporate executive wanting to put your career in your own hands, you're an experienced entrepreneur looking to diversify, Andy can help. He's a longtime Rivals board member, a diehard college football fan, franchise veteran. Call Andy, put your life and your career in your own hands. It's 100% free. You've got nothing to lose. Find your perfect franchise at myperfectfranchise.net or contact Andy at myperfectfranchise.net or call him at 404-973-9901. Southern Traditions Farm is a 68-acre, 32-stall upscale equestrian training and boarding facility in Canton, Mississippi. 2 sand rings, grass ring, miles of wooded trails. There's a lot to be offered at Southern Traditions, including horseback riding offerings, from beginner to nationally recognized competitions, and so much more. Get in touch with them on Facebook or Instagram at Southern Traditions Farm. Would you like some peace of mind knowing that your roof is taken care of? Whether you need an inspection, a new roof, or a maintenance program, Riverland Roofing has you covered. Home or business. As a GAF Master Elite contractor, they can offer warranties that last a lifetime. Licensed and insured, Riverland services Mississippi and its surrounding states. So text or call Riverland today at 662-644-4297. And are you ready for the ultimate college experience? Welcome to College Town, Oxford, your new home away from home. They know you want the best. That's exactly what they offer. No more long commutes or missing out on campus events at Ole Miss. College Town, Oxford is right next door to the Ole Miss campus. They offer spacious 2, 3, and 4 bedroom homes, each with individual leases because they believe in flexibility and simplicity. Their amenities will make you feel like you're living in a resort. Whether it's a weekend binge session or hosting the best game day parties, you'll do it in comfort and style. They are designed to give you the perfect blend of comfort and convenience. So don't break up the gang. Instead, grab your friends, pick out your favorite floor plan, reserve it today at collegetownoxford.com. College Town, Oxford, this must be the place. Text their VIP list today to be the first to know when their leasing for fall 2024 is open. 662-300-3733.
Let Heavenly Sunshine take care of your Christmas lights this holiday season. They're beautiful, but they can be a lot of work. So do the hassle and the work for you with a full-service installation plan. They install, take down, and store the lights. Use commercial-grade LEDs and 100% customizable to your home or business. They take care of the lights. You take care of the gifts. Book in the month of September. Still a few days more in that. The month of September with the MPW 10. And you get a free 30-inch deluxe lighted wreath there with Heavenly Sunshine, Oxford and Mid-South over 4 decades. They got commercial, residential, property maintenance, power washing, soft wash, roof cleaning, facade cleaning, window cleaning, and much more. That's heavenlysunshine.com, 662-342-1203. Yes, we'll get into some NFL stuff tomorrow. Lane Kiffin has his press conference today at noon, or his second press conference in as many days today as at noon. So we'll have that and whatever else comes throughout the day. Yes.
Don't forget, if you're looking for residential or commercial or property, Oxford or Tupelo, get in touch with Whitney McNutt. Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Homes Incorporated. You can get in touch with Whitney at 662-567-2573 or Whitney at tmhomes.com.
So a lot of info, college football leading up to Ole Miss and LSU, 5 o'clock Saturday from Hemingway Stadium. So I hope all of you have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.